awaiting a shot at the #1 team in the country, Duke. Let's take a look at the starting lineup first for the Blue Devils. Christian Laettner, the key at both ends of the court. He is the third leading scorer in the ACC. For Georgia Tech, Malcolm Mackey finally realizing his potential. He is second in the conference in rebounding at 9.4 and scores 16 points a game for Georgia Tech. The key in this one, core stick, the difference being Bobby Hurley out of the lineup, the brilliant point guard. How does that affect Duke? How does it affect Georgia Tech?
Mike, when you look at Duke, number one, it affects them offensively in transition. They will become more of a half-court game basketball team. He pushes the ball up the floor exceptionally well. On the defensive end, it will hurt them because they will not have as many turnovers that they will force because of his relentless defensive pressure, which really converts into a lot of layups in transition with steals.
Of course, Duke, even with that loss last week to North Carolina, still has a one-game lead in the ACC standings. Carolina one game behind. The surprising Seminoles tied for third with Virginia, a team that's coming on. And Georgia Tech in fifth right now at 4-5. Tonight would be a huge win for them. Wake Forest is winning this evening. They could move to 5-6. Then NC State, Clemson, and Maryland. Talked to Bobby Hurley a couple of minutes ago before we came on the air, and he said he would be back in 2 weeks.
Well, they really need the little guy, I really believe, to win the national championship. Short term, they can play without him. I thought Duke showed a lot of character going down to LSU and getting that big win, especially going down there after being physically and mentally exhausted after the North Carolina game and playing without their little catalyst, Bob Hurley.
And doing it when Shaquille O'Neal was playing so well.
He was a dominator in that game.
This is the home record under Bobby Crimmins, 116-19 at the Thriller Dome.
They had lost 4 in a row in the ACC, and they needed that win so badly against Maryland. In fact, Maryland really had them a little bit on the ropes and didn't have a great performance out of Walt the Wizard Williams.
Matt Geiger jumping center against Christian Laettner. And Grant Hill playing the point. Georgia Tech goes to a zone. You'll probably see a lot of that tonight.
I think the reason we'll see the zone is because they're afraid of matchup problems against Grant Hill. He'll post the heck out of either one of the guards if they were to guard him.
Grant Hill trying to penetrate.
One advantage that Hill possesses up on top. He can look right over the top of the defense.
Thomas Hill blocked by Geiger. It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow gives it to Georgia Tech. And this team has just set a block shot record.
There's Thomas Hill with the little fake. There's Geiger with the left hand, the block.
42nd block for Matt Geiger this year.
Defensively, it should present a little bit of a problem for Hill, having to play a little guy who's got great quickness.
Forrest gets to the baseline, kicks it back out to John Barry. Cross-court Forrest, who's been so hot, hits that jumper.
Excellent skip pass right over the top of the defense, and Forrest has really been on fire, averaging 24.3 in his last 3 games.
And shooting nearly 60% from the floor. He's the #1 Atlantic Coast Conference scorer as a freshman. And Mike Krzyzewski, who has done so many brilliant things for this program, trying to keep it together while Bobby Hurley is injured. This is Laettner. Davis penetrates, missed the shot. Forrest with the rebound. This is Barry on the run. It's a 3, partially blocked. Laettner has it ahead of the pack as Grant Hill can't get it to him, and he travels.
Shot selection's really been a problem for Bobby Crimmins and his Georgia Tech basketball team. In their 4 losses in a row in the ACC, they were shooting 42%, and the reason, shot selection. Bad shot by John Barry. Here comes Christian Laettner.
And now Dick Paparo says it was an inadvertent whistle, and the ball will go back to Duke.
Good call by Mr. Paparo, making that change.
Grant Hill spins into the lane. Kicks it off. Laettner, who has the great range with the miss. Geiger lets it go out of bounds. Out to the Jackets.
Hill is such a versatile player. He created that opportunity for Laettner with his dribble penetration right at the top 2 people.
Dick, I really believe this Georgia Tech team is a club that has all the elements, and if they can put it together, they're going to be very dangerous down the stretch.
Well, they got a lot of size inside. They have a good blend of experience plus good young people.
Best with that quick first step, got the shot, couldn't hit it. Mackey kept it alive. This is Laettner. Davis ahead of the pack, doesn't throw the long ball.
The 2-3 zone should have open wing shots.
Thomas Hill with a miss, and off Leitner out of bounds to Georgia Tech.
I'll tell you one thing, when you look at the makeup of the Duke basketball team, Bobby Cremins recognizes that they might have a little liability shooting the perimeter shot. Where are you, Billy, baby? Billy McCaffrey. That's the one dimension that he provided for this team.
Barry wasn't looking, ball went right through his hands, out of bounds. Both teams a little tight here early. Duke has missed all 4 field goal attempts. Tech has hit only 1 of its first 3.
Mentioning McCaffrey, he's down at Vanderbilt. He transferred. They've been certainly super without him all year long, but I think in a big game, he really could be missed.
Grant Hill, who has never taken a 3-point shot in his college career. Geiger got a piece of that one. Here's the follow shot. It is good by Davis, and he's fouled.
Notice that Duke right here early in the game, you can see that they're playing more a 5-on-5 game as opposed to the personality they possess with Hurley, where they're running the ball up the court. There's Hill trying to back down Barry, shoot over the top. Davis is going to come up with the loose ball. He's going to convert with the big people inside.
Davis, the senior from Capitol Heights, Maryland, fouled by Malcolm Mackey, his first.
What a good role player. Last year he started earlier in the season. Mike Krzyzewski wasn't happy with his performance, told him why, didn't like his effort on the floor, but he earned back PT and was brilliant in a run for the national championship.
Best and Barry in the backcourt. They go low to Mackey, who's had trouble with his shot. Now he has trouble hanging on, stolen by Leitner. Grant Hill on the 3-on-2. Davis blocked by Barry, and he's fouled.
Not a good decision right there by Grant Hill. Gave the ball up a little bit too early. Again, the importance of a Bob Hurley. Hurley with the rock in his hands right there. He's giving it to Hill for a layup. Gave it up just a little bit too early.
Barry got him with the body and then blocked the shot. Second team foul against Georgia Tech.
As Bobby Cremins doing some coaching with John Barry, one of the most improved players in the nation.
His brother Drew is a redshirt freshman on this team.
He's got another brother playing down at Oregon State.
Davis misses the second free throw that he's had tonight. He's a 78% free throw shooter.
Well, Duke as a team shoots better than 74%. And anytime you can do that, you got a chance to win the close games. Something that's hurt LSU. Yesterday they get beat by Georgia. And you look at Shaquille O'Neal, 5 for 13. There's the little catalyst. He was my midseason All-American point guard. Was having a brilliant year prior to his injury.
Free throw shooting has also hurt Georgia Tech. Travis Best, the sensational freshman from Springfield, Massachusetts. He and Forrest battling for Freshman of the Year honors. Best missed that one. Geiger rebound. Nice pass to Mackey.
Good interior pass. Best's going to have a tough time trying to shoot the ball over the top of Hill. He's going to have to try to beat Grant Hill with some dribble penetration. But a good effort right there by Geiger to get the ball to Mackey.
Geiger, a very unselfish player. Leitner trying to penetrate. Has to kick it off to Davis. Grant Hill inside the three-point line. Missed it. Mackey. 3-on-3. Barry for a 3. Geiger. Oh, it kicked out on him. Nice play by Matt Geiger. Good hustle, but here comes Grant Hill back for the Blue Devils.
Against this 2-3 zone, you got to get right into the seam of the two guys up on top and then bang the ball to the wings.
And they're not attacking it real well so far.
No, they're playing with the ball on a perimeter rather than dribble penetration and attack those gaps.
Leitner kicks it across Thomas Hill. This is a 3, and he drilled it.
Mike, the wings are going to be wide open in that 2-3. If you have a guard up on top that drives the ball at the top 2 and bangs it to the wings will be available.
Duke leads by 2. Geiger, Lang gave him some space to drive, and he hit it.
Nice move by Matt Geiger. He's got an excellent touch. He went through a little bit of a slump, and there's a reason for it, I really believe, in terms of concentration. He found out his brother Mark came down with Hodgkin's disease, his twin brother, after the Duke game.
Leitner out of the corner would have been a 3. Another rebound to Mackey, who is second in the ACC with 9.5 rebounds a game.
He was second last year to Dale Davis, the rebounding whiz from down at Clemson.
Last year averaged 10.5 rebounds a game.
See, Geiger's trying to take advantage of his size against Lang, but they don't look inside to him.
Barry had it blocked, got it back. Forrest, that's his range, missed the shot, and a good rebound by Grant Hill.
Oh, great look.
Davis on a pass that somehow threaded through the defense.
Well, great look by Grant Hill. Has tremendous vision, multi-dimensional. Will be one of the all-time greats ever to wear a Duke uniform. Once
Davis
he gets a little bit hungrier.
Davis has 5, and Barry ties it at 8.
They need a solid performance on a John Barry to win here tonight, Mike.
He is critical because his outside shooting brings the rest of the defense out away from the big guys.
See, right up on top, Grant Hill's got to step into the gap and make best than Barry play him. They're trying to match up on top.
Leitner has to kick it across. Davis has had most of the free shots tonight. Short on that one, bothered by Geiger. Geiger has the rebound, and he's fouled.
Geiger and Mackey were playing really exceptional basketball earlier this year. Then they went through that little slump.
Foul on Brian Davis. 14:23 to go in the half. It's tied up at 8.
Long after you've turned off the engine of the Acura Vigor, it will continue to run through your mind. The Vigor from Acura.
Honey, you know that little package they delivered this morning? Did you put it somewhere?
Federal Express knows how it feels when you have to locate your package.
Mommy needs it for a meeting.
That's why Federal Express has a tracking system that can tell you where your package is.
How about giving Mommy a hint?
Of course, once it gets there, you're on your own.
Oh, great.
Federal Express.
Henry, where are my keys?
Our most important package is yours.
Certainly isn't the same old place.
No kidding.
I'm thinking of early retirement.
I'm not thinking about it. I'm doing it. 2 more years.
You can swing it?
Yeah, my Payne Weber guy helped me out with it. Remember the stock money we got after the '84 buyout? He took it and restructured my entire portfolio.
But how did he know you wanted out back then?
He asked.
7 into the first half. Duke and Georgia Tech tied at 8. And it's been the front line of Georgia Tech that's provided the difference early, with Malcolm Mackey and Matt Geiger up front. A combined 75 blocks coming into this game, and Georgia Tech as a team has already set a club record for blocks this year.
As good as you are along that baseline, I really believe in collegiate basketball, you have to have strong perimeter play, Mike. You have to have excellent backcourt play to be able to win consistently. And that's why the burden is on this little guy with the rock in his hands, Travis Best, and also on John Barry.
Tech out rebounding Duke so far, 9-5. They've won the battle up front.
Duke plays that tough, hard-nosed man-to-man defense.
Mackey had it partially blocked by Cherokee Parks, who's checked in for the first time out of bounds out to Georgia Tech.
Parks really becomes a bigger factor now because of the presence. Right now, he and Leitner together to match up size-wise, but also because of the loss of Hurley, he's going to get a lot more playing time.
Well, there's some big bodies out there right now, aren't there?
Well, their rotation has changed. Duke's rotation because of the loss of Hurley, with Hill moving to the backcourt.
Davis gets it low to Leitner, who may have gotten a piece of the last shot. Georgia Tech has turned the ball over 3 times so far.
I think Grant Hill really likes having the ball in his hands. He really loves it out here on the perimeter.
Marty Clark, number 3, is in for the first time.
Notice how to use the skip pass. It simply means throw it over the top of the defense.
Leitner, a 15-footer. Geiger with another rebound. Best to Barry against Leitner. Great job to shield the ball with his body.
Well, he was so determined. Got the good angle on the drive to the goal. What an improved player from last year. Last year was one-dimensional. Jump shot, jump shot, jump shot.
4 points for Barry. Marty Clark drives the baseline. Blocked again by Geiger. Here comes Barry. Pulls up, leans into a tough shot. Maybe he should have brought that one back out.
That's a bad shot right there. That's really a poor job in terms of shot selection by John Barry.
Watch the block by Geiger.
See, Geiger rotates over. Excellent timing. Takes it to the glass. Here comes Barry now. Clark's playing Barry.
Georgia Tech by 2. Geiger wants the ball inside. Instead, Forrest gets it. Fouled on the way up. The basket counts.
What a tremendous high school player he was, Mike. Right here in this city in Atlanta. He was outstanding. He was one of the 5 best high school players in the nation. And Bobby Crimmins was ecstatic when he said yes to the Ramblin' Wreck. And you can see why. There's the little jump shot. He's shooting the ball with so much more confidence than earlier this year. Forrest puts it to the left hand, squares his body. He's been putting big points on the board at 26 against North Carolina in an L here.
He's been on a great 3-game streak.
There's the New Yorker, Bobby Cremins, arrived here in 1981, came out of Appalachian State. Forget it down in Vegas if you think you're going to get him, because you're not getting him, and you're not getting Gene Cady either. He's not leaving Purdue for UNLV.
Bobby Cremins got tremendous support when the rumors were going around that he might go to Notre Dame. There's a travel by Thomas Hill. Much like Mike Krzyzewski did at Duke when all the job rumors came up. People came out and told Bobby Cremins, we want you to stay at Georgia Tech, and he seems very happy here.
Well, he loves it right here. Look at Kansas putting a real hurt on Iowa State. Indiana struggling. They had beaten Minnesota by 46 earlier this year. Nothing like being at home.
Berry for 3. He misses it. Newbill into the game for the first time, has the rebound. Mackey tried to get it to Newbill, knocked away, he got it back. Forrest with the left hand, it wouldn't roll in for him. Here's the follow, won't go. Mackey keeps it alive in the lane. That won't go, and Leitner finally gets the rebound.
They are really climbing up on the glass. They're really utilizing their wide bodies, Georgia Tech.
Leitner for 3, and that's the one guy you cannot leave alone outside.
That's his versatility. He hit 2 big threes against LSU, and that game was getting away from him.
1-point game, Georgia Tech on top. Geiger has 4 block shots, but he won't go out to 23 feet to block Leitner. Baseline jumper short by Forrest.
Forrest has got to add a little bit more to his game. He's got to drive with the basketball a little bit.
Leitner on the run, collision with Forrest, no whistle. The follow, Thomas Hill is fouled.
I think that really I respect and admire about the Duke kids so much is the fact everywhere they go, everybody wants to beat Duke. And they play at such a higher level against them. And that means you have to respond consistently with a great effort. There goes Leitner, going to drive the ball right at the defense. Ooh, they get a block right here. Oh, there was no call on that play.
Not on the first one. Ivano Newbill finally committed the foul. Wow. Hill goes to the line for the first time tonight.
What a player he has become. When he was recruited, he was not rated up there very high. Coming out of Texas.
Well, this is unusual for Duke. Usually one of the best free throw shooting teams in the nation. They have struggled so far from the line. 1 out of 4.
Mike has a steady rotation. His players get a lot of minutes.
Now make it 1 out of 5. Of course, that rotation changes some because Hurley's gone. 11:30 to go, first half of play. Georgia Tech leading #1 Duke by 1. This is Brian Hill for Georgia Tech.
Barry's rotated over to the point guard slot now from the #2 position, the scoring position.
Antonio Lang on him.
Lang's a good athlete. He's getting a lot of minutes now with Hurley out of the game.
Forrest picked up by Leitner on a good defensive switch. Berry. What a follow! Holy cow!
That is a freshman, my friends. That's a diaper dandy. He's making a run for Rookie of the Year.
That's no freshman.
He's making a run. They've had 6 rookies of the year in the Bobby Cremins era.
It may say on his transcript he's a freshman, but he isn't one on the basketball court.
He's a man. M-A-N. I could spell that 1 syllable.
14-11. Air ball. Fired up that time by Hill. Tech has the ball again.
Georgia Tech gets bigger now with Travis Best on the sideline.
Nice defense by Thomas Hill. Just took it away from Berry, and Cherokee Parks picks it up.
Good hands by Thomas Hill. Excellent hands.
Grant Hill back to Thomas Hill. Got it.
He deserved it. He really earned getting the rock back in his hands for the deuce after the excellent defensive play on the basketball. You know, the big question with Duke is what happens if Grant Hill ever gets in foul trouble? Who plays the point guard slot?
That is an excellent question. One I think Mike Krzyzewski hopes he will never have to find out. Here's Leitner. Excellent hustle to get the ball. Nice pass to Lang from Thomas Hill. Got it, and he's fouled.
It's nice when you can go to your bench and get people like Antonio Lang He's an athlete out of Mobile, Alabama. Combines great athletic ability with tremendous intelligence. He was a valedictorian in high school of his class. Nice look. Good instincts right there by Thomas Hill. Good pump fake. And there goes the deuce by Mr. Lang.
Fouls on James Forrest. Lang gets his first 2.
Christian Laettner going to the sideline. Certainly going to be either 1 or 2 in the NBA draft for the senior class. He or Alonzo Mourning. I give the edge to Mourning.
In and out again, and Duke has been unable to buy only a single free throw tonight, and they still lead by 1. They've hit only 1 out of 6 as a team. That's not Duke.
That is a rarity.
Brian Hill, too strong. Has his own rebound off the loose ball. Best back in at the point. Geiger back in the middle.
Geiger kept that alive. Parks and Geiger going at it. Geiger really wants the ball, and they're missing getting it to him.
They finally get it into him, and they will call the offensive foul on Geiger.
Well, they've been emphasizing that all year this year. The post player trying to get the advantage by backing in. See, as he sits down, he tries to push him back. You can't do that. Bob Donato with the call.
We've got a timeout with 9:25 to go first half. Duke has regained the lead over Georgia Tech.
This Valentine's Day, make sure you send your sweetheart the FTD flower basket bouquet. Oh, and make sure you send it a day or 2 early, because as Cupid says, if your sweetheart misses out...
It's as easy as FTD.
55% of business people travel to big cities. That's why we created Holiday Inn Crowne Plaza. Big city amenities with Holiday Inn warmth. Stay with someone you know who really knows you.
Gillette presents Sensor, the system, the technology that will change the way you shave forever. Sensor, twin blades set on springs to read your face and respond. Independent suspension to sense and adjust to every curve of your face. No other razor comes close. Gillette Sensor, for the best shave a man can get.
The #1 team in the nation, the Duke Blue Devils, leading Georgia Tech 15-14, 9:25 to go first half. And Georgia Tech is pounding Duke on the board so far, Dick. I mean, they simply have dominated inside, have not really been able to take advantage of that edge. 19-9. Georgia Tech, though, with the 6 turnovers. Duke, on the other hand, only 1 out of 6 from the free throw line.
Well,
what's going on here?
The free throw line certainly has been a great plus for Georgia Tech in terms of Duke being 1 for 6. It doesn't shock me with the great advantage as you look at Forrest on the sideline of Georgia Tech over Duke in terms of rebounding. You're at home. You're bigger up front. You got an aggressive front line. They're hungry. I mean, Georgia Tech needs a big, big W. They haven't had one in a long time. That Maryland game, they're expected to win that game.
Forrest has had a pretty good 10 minutes, 6 points and 2 rebounds, including that monster follow smash dunk. Hill down the lane, off to Lang, offensive foul. And Lang hanging on the rim so he doesn't land anybody. Bodies everywhere. Coming up tomorrow, another doubleheader, 7:30 coming your way. Florida State against the Cavaliers of Virginia. And then Temple will take on Memphis State. That's a 9:30 start here on ESPN. That's the first foul on Grant Hill.
Memphis State had that big win over Arkansas. Larry Finch's kids right now need another win over Temple if they're going to stay alive for an NCAA tournament bid, because they're in a conference that doesn't get an automatic. And there's 2 at-large teams possibly in front of them in that conference. Tulane is certainly doing a super job, and Louisville is certainly a team making a run for an NCAA berth.
Mike Krzyzewski, I think now in anybody's book, the #1 coach in the country, Dick.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You know what? I said Tulane, and I made an error. Give me a turnover. They're not in the Metro Conference anymore. Tulane is, oh,
you made
wow.
a mistake?
I made a mistake. I tell you
Write
what.
it down, folks.
Well, Tulane's in the Metro, but certainly Memphis State's not. They're in the great Midwest of Cincinnati and company.
Here's a holding call away from the ball. They'll get Antonio Lang for his first.
He's trying to pump inside. Look, he's trying to get that good angle and dump it in. I'll tell you, you got to be a genius geographically to try and keep up with all the realignments.
Well, that's a tough mismatch for Lang at 6'8", 205 against Geiger at 7'1", 251.
Well, they're not taking advantage of it. You know, Lang's trying to beat him with quickness and Geiger with his size. Oh, now they got a mismatch with Hill leaning all over him.
Got Grant Hill on. Basically a three-guard offense right now. Hill trapped. This is best. Into the lane. Back to Barry for three.
He's falling away on his shot. He's not staying with his shot. He's shooting and he's drifting, and it's affecting, I really believe, his shot.
Grant Hill looks to Mike Krzyzewski, tells him what play he wants to run. Duke up by a point.
A lot of teams like to go odd even in terms of attacking a 2-3. With a 2-3 even front, you like to go with an odd guy. Hill at the point.
Leitner lost it out of bounds on the double team. Talking about Barry falling away on that shot deck, he is 0 for 5 on three-point tries tonight. And they need that outside shooting.
I mentioned, as you've seen Barry before, missed that shot. Memphis State, they're in that league with the great Midwest, and Cincinnati and DePaul look like they'll get berths. It'll be tough to get 3 at large from one conference, because the great Midwest doesn't get an automatic berth.
Geiger trying to get rid of a dangerous cross-court pass, and it's picked off by the alert Thomas Hill. You make a mistake against Duke, and they burn you for it.
All great teams do that. They really make you pay when you make that error.
Leitner's been pretty quiet.
That's an excellent pass against the 2-3 zone.
Thomas Hill, tough shot with pressure on top of him. Geiger with another rebound. And a foul underneath. Boy, Geiger has looked tough in the first half.
He's done a good job of rebounding, but they got to do a little better job of outletting the ball to try and create numbers.
Foul was on Christian Leitner. 7:32 to go in the half. It's still a one-point game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to be the continuing sponsor at Texaco of Georgia Tech Athletics.
There's only one every year, so don't miss the Northeast RV and Camping Show, February 13th through the 17th at Rockland Community College in Suffern, New York. Hundreds of RVs, travel trailers, pop-up campers, and motorhomes. See them all at the Northeast RV and Camping Show. You'll never find a better price or selection of RVs. And it's your chance to win a Coleman pop-up camper. No purchase necessary. So don't miss the Northeast RV and Camping Show, February 13th through the 17th at Rockland Community College in Suffern, New York.
If you're a Rod Stewart fan or just a fan of great rock and roll, don't miss his very first live pay-per-view concert, Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Not only will you get the best seat in the house, but when you place your pay-per-view order, your name will automatically be put in a drawing for a chance to win Rod Stewart tapes, CDs, and Vagabond Heart concert t-shirts. Just call 1-800-885-3456 and catch the Customer Information Center the week of February 10th for prize details during a special Rod Stewart Countdown show.
Big Monday. Terry DeHare leads Seton Hall against Sean Miller and the Pitt Panthers. Then highly ranked Missouri faces Nebraska. A better place to be is Big Monday, live on ESPN.
Daniel, touchdown. It is tipped and caught by Tillman.
The waddle.
Sunday at 8 o'clock, a look at the ups and downs of Mike Tyson's stormy career. Mike Tyson, the fallen champion, hosted by Charlie Steiner. That comes your way Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, and certainly the entire sports world has been shocked and bewildered by the events of the past several years, in fact, in that sport.
Hey, Charlie Steiner's done a great job reporting.
Sure
Bob
has.
Lee does a great job as an investigative reporter as well. There it is. Geiger wants the ball. They have to recognize that and get him the basketball inside. You can see it when a player feels it.
Geiger said that last year he knew he wasn't being aggressive enough. Gained 20 pounds in the offseason, decided he needed to be more aggressive, look for a shot more, and it's difficult to tell in the numbers, but when you watch him play, it's really paid off.
Well, good touch inside. His brother Mark is his twin brother, the one we talked about a little bit earlier, came down with the Hodgkin's disease, and I know really Matt sends his love because they're a tremendously close family from out of Clearwater, Florida, and we send our best wishes for a speedy recovery as well.
5 points and 6 rebounds for Geiger here in the first half. He and Forrest have been tremendous. Lang walked, yes.
Duke trying to jam the ball into the gap of the zone right behind the front two with Lang sliding to the foul line area.
Duke has turned the ball over 4 times. Here's some update scores for you. Auburn over James Madison. That's in the second half. The ball leading Bradley.
James Madison's won like 12 in a row. Lefty Drizel's club's done an outstanding job. They're having a tough time there playing an SEC team, Auburn.
Man can still coach. Barry low to Geiger. Wants it. Jump hook way short that time. Save to Leitner. Good hustle by Grant Hill, who gets it back. Duke has not scored since there was 9:12 on the clock 2.5 minutes ago. Leitner down the lane. Nice feed, nice move.
Shows his ability to utilize either hand. Changes from the right, uses the left hand, slides in the lane. He's almost 7 feet tall, and he's so versatile, so graceful, mobile.
Leitner has 5. We are tied at 17. Forrest double team, wide open. Barry again. He needs to start hitting.
John Barry averaged 15 points a game last year. He's averaging better than 16 this year.
And that will open up the inside if he can hit a couple.
Grant Hill's wide open. He's got to make this perimeter shot.
Takes the long-range jumper, and once again, the inexperience of not taking the three-point shots. He backs up 6 inches, and it's a 3 instead of a 2.
Right, recognizing the line. Best is having a tough time shooting over the top of Grant Hill because of Hill's size.
He struggled with his shot somewhat this year, shooting only 41% from the floor. Waiting on Leitner. Georgia Tech by 1 with 5:39 to go first half of play from Atlanta. They drop off Davis. I don't think he'll take that shot. Grant Hill with a miss. Leitner with the tip.
Leitner has the good inside position. Great hands to make that play.
Leitner now with 7, and Duke back on top. Just the kind of game we thought it would be. Best to Forrest, who was open momentarily and then covered up. And Geiger trying to dribble with it, lost it.
Oh, what a great
Thomas
pass.
Hill.
What a great pass. Cherokee Parks with the great look. Thomas Hill with the monster mash.
23-20, and Thomas Hill has 7 for the Blue Devils.
Duke playing that aggressive man-to-man defense. Love to deny on the wings.
Barry setting up outside. Thomas Hill on him. Geiger wants it against Parks. Gets it. And a reach-in foul will be called against Duke.
Fouls on Thomas Hill. His first. 17 fouls.
Thomas Hill picks up the personal. That is the 7th team foul against Duke. Georgia Tech has committed only 5. And there is the points off turnover story. Duke, of course, usually does that to everybody, but it's surprising with the Duke turnovers that Georgia Tech has not scored at all.
They really do an outstanding job, Duke, with their defensive pressure and, of course, the turnover. Travis Best has been under the weather. He's had a problem with his throat, strep throat. He's really under the weather a little bit tonight. He's trying to really gut it out here.
Geiger, 5 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks. Missed that one. The rebound at Grant Hill.
Averaged 16 points a game. Geiger at Auburn played for Sonny Smith before transfer.
Thomas Hill wide open for 3.
Wide open again. Look at Duke utilize the skip pass. Simply what I mean by a skip pass, you don't throw the ball to the guy next to you. You bypass him and you throw the ball right through the defense or over the top of the defense.
10 for Thomas Hill. And the crowd trying to get Georgia Tech back into it offensively.
Well, see, they're keeping the crowd really quiet here by maintaining that little lead.
And this is going to be a pushing foul away from the ball on Malcolm Mackey. That will be his 2nd.
Mackey's really been quiet. He was quiet against North Carolina. He was 0 for 4. They can't win when he goes 0 for 4 on a baseline.
And really, until this recent streak, he has had some marvelous statistics. Only one of 2 ACC players in the top 10 in 4 categories. Scoring, field goal percentage, rebounding, and block shots, and he has really been in a slump lately.
Well, he fouled out against Clemson and didn't really play a typical Malcolm Mackey game, even though he had 11 rebounds.
26-20.
See right here, the odd even. I think Grant Hill's got to dribble the ball right at the top two people. Force them to pinch.
Parts of that skip pass to Leitner.
See, Leitner loves throwing his pass over the top of the defense. Christian giving you a look of a little guard playing on a perimeter.
Grant Hill down the lane with Barry all over him and drains it.
That's the play I was talking about, Mike. Attack the two people up on top. Big possession right now for Georgia Tech. They got to stop this run by Duke. They need a big basket here.
28-20. Forrest had it knocked away, out to the Blue Devils.
No rhythm to their offense. Everybody congested on one side of the floor. Bobby Cremins has to find a way to get better balance offensively.
Tech has turned it over 10 times, and now they're down by 8.
Nobody can give you a price to repair your exhaust system until they check it out. From here to here. At Midas, before you get a price, you get a free inspection. And you get a guaranteed estimate, so you'll know what it'll cost right up front. You get Midas-trained experts and a Midas guarantee.
And that guarantee is good in over 1,700 Midas shops all across the country.
When we give you a price, believe it. And believe this, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
For the Fergusons, just going to the store can be quite an adventure. The incredibly civilized Ford Explorer. The overwhelming choice of Explorers everywhere.
Introducing United Airlines' renowned international service to cities throughout Latin America. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
With a 17-6 run in the last 7.5 minutes, Duke has taken a 28-20 lead over Georgia Tech, and Grant Hill finally was able to do what you asked him to do the entire game.
Well, let's watch right here as they're going to reverse the ball out to Grant Hill, and he's going to attack the defense. See, right here, there's up on top, freeze it. Right there, there's a big gap. See that gap? You go for a truck through there. Cherokee, get out of his way, Parks. And there's the little jumper in the lane. Splits the defense, and Grant Hill with his great size. I just love this guy. I love everything about him. He's got great character. He's intelligent, outstanding athlete. Almost went to North Carolina. In fact, that was really his first choice until he visited Duke, and it was over. And then he didn't even visit North Carolina, and they were brokenhearted that he didn't visit.
Davis, the alley-oop, and do you believe that?
Are you serious?
Hill looked like his arm was about 8 feet long.
Can you imagine if that was done at Cameron Indoor Stadium? The Cameron Crazies right now will be dancing. We'll be going absolutely bananas-ville.
Oh, what they're doing here is just going, ooh.
They're going, wow.
Holy cow, what a play.
Look, Travis Best trying to play shake and bake, but Hill doesn't allow him to beat him. See, he's playing off Travis.
Forrest, that's his range, and they needed the bucket. 30-22.
They needed a basket badly.
And Forrest, the freshman, is the guy they go to.
I'll tell you, if they meet these two tests, that's a great accomplishment. To go on a road and beat LSU, to go on a road and beat Georgia Tech, and do it without your star point guard. Wow.
Hill once again sails into the lane. Missed the shot, but apparently tipped it in. He is putting on a show in the last couple of minutes. Grant Hill with 8.
And he's so smooth. He's like velvet.
Best dangerous pass, but Forrest has it. Penetrates, had it stripped by who else?
Give it
Grant
back.
Hill to Davis, and Davis will lay it in.
Well, he could have given it back, but it was a good move by Brian Davis. Travis got out of the way and went in for the score. Travis is strictly playing on a perimeter with the basketball, and he's not giving him any advantage by beating the defensive player.
It's another burst by Duke that will put him up 34-22. Bobby Crimmins quickly saw enough and used the timeout. And Dick, it's amazing when you go back through basketball, when UCLA had the great teams, and I always think of the Boston Celtics in this regard, and Duke, they get those runs where they just bury you.
They're excellent spurt basketball teams. Grant Hill, look at the great hands. Just the tremendous hands. One-handed jam. He did that last year on a regular basis with Bob Hurley throwing the lob up over the top. There it is with the great one-hand catch.
I mean, he's fading away when he caught that ball. That's unbelievable.
That is magnificent, baby, with a capital M. Look at that catch. Throw the diagonal pass right over the top.
President's Day is coming up, and we have a special for you. 4 games, starting with James Madison against George Washington.
Wow, I'm going to go for my all-president's team. Abe Lincoln will be my center. Big Abe in the lane. We'll go with Dwight D. Eisenhower as my forward. He'll be the power guy, the defense guy. We'll go up front. Let's think about it. Let's go with another forward by the name of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the go-to guy when things are tough. Backcourt, we'll go with James Madison, the littlest guy. He's the Michael Adams of the president. And then we'll go my point guard. We'll go with George Bush as the point guard, handling the rock. No, we'll go with George Washington as my point guard. And my 6th man, we'll go with President Ford coming off the bench. The coach, the communicator, Ronald Reagan.
Barry. Got that one. It's another 3. He's hit 2 in a row after he missed his first 5. 34-25.
He knocks down the 3. I have to admit that, Mike. I rehearsed that, baby.
I hope so. How about if you really need a turnover, you get Herbert Hoover. 1:25 to go first half. Loose ball. Forrest comes up with it.
Adjustment by Bobby Clemens in a timeout. Came out of the zone, went to the man-to-man.
Travis Best trying to get by Grant Hill, then dumps it low and threw it right past Devano Newbill.
What Grant Hill's doing defensively, he knows he has the long arms. So therefore, when Bobby Clemens puts the ball in Best's hands, he's playing off him, and Best can't beat him with the dribble. Then if Best pulls up, he comes back out with his long arms, and he's right there to bother his shot.
Leitner down the lane and hit it.
Christian Leitner protecting the basketball. He can go left. He can go right. He can shoot the ball from deep.
Leitner has 9. Here's Mackey. Nice spin move to get away from Leitner.
Where have you been, Emma? Mr. Malcolm Mackey, get the rock in your hands and use that power and take it to the goal.
I mean, he's 6'11", 248. In the last couple of games, he's been rather invisible.
Well, that's because the guards. I really believe that the guards, when they're not playing well, shooting the ball well, it makes it so tough for the inside people.
3 more seconds on the game clock than the shot clock. Duke trying to wind it down as far as they can. They're up by 9.
It's so well coached. Mike Krzyzewski's team spreading the court, taking away the double team.
Leitner out near center court.
That's a great pass right there. Leitner's so comfortable with the basketball.
Shot clock at 9. Duke being very patient. Leitner, I think, got away with it up and down. And then Grant Hill may have walked.
They had 2 walks.
Shot clock expired. Boy, it looked like Leitner went up what we used to call the up and down. You go up with the ball, you don't shoot, you come back down with it. And Mike Krzyzewski really upset. 3 seconds left in the half.
Gonna throw the baseball pass, release somebody, there they go.
Newbill to Barry, and Barry goes down trying to get past Leitner, and that's the end of the first half. So Duke, with a couple of bursts, leaves this court with the boos of the crowd in their ears, but they also leave with a 9-point lead. 36-27, our halftime score. Hope you'll be back with us for the second half. Right now, let's join John Saunders. John?
All right, Mike and Dick, thank you very much. 9-point lead for Duke, despite the fact their point guard, Bobby Hurley, is unable to play. And when we come back, Jim Valvano will take a look at his replacement, Grant Hill. Plenty more, as well as scores and highlights when we return.
Sleep around here? What's all the racket? What's up? Jock, I was only kidding. Gruesome, ain't it? Of course you know this means war. Air Jordan and Air Jordan.
What'd you expect? Elmer Fudd?
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
This floors them every time. Yoo-hoos! Nice shorts. This could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
That's all, folks.
Well, that's my line.
When redesigning the Ford Taurus wagon, we gave it the kind of shape that holds your attention, available anti-lock brakes that hold on slick roads, and a newly restyled instrument panel that holds more than convenient controls. Available dual airbags, a Ford Motor Company exclusive in this class, because we know Ford Taurus wagon will also be holding you.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
ESPN's NCAA basketball is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by the people of Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
Welcome back. Duke, the #1 team in the nation, and they are up at halftime over Georgia Tech. You heard Dick Vitale talk about it. He was saying exactly what Bobby Hurley's replacement, Grant Hill, was doing defensively. Now you can show it.
That's my job. Dick asked for it, and I come through with it. We deliver it here. Watch this. We're talking about the great job that Grant Hill does defensively. Watch this. Here you see Travis Best with the low dribble. Look at the space. First of all, Grant Hill gets a little bit off his man, but look how low he is because the basketball is low. And he's not going to let the little guy get by. Look at it. He can't get by him. All right, so he goes away. Now he gets it. Now look at him. Now Grant Hill's got his hands up. Why? Because the basketball is up. And now he's up to make a pass or a shot difficult. And so now when he starts to dribble again, look at Hill. He's not sure what to do. Look how far away he is again. One more time. Look at it. Now the basketball's about waist height. And what is he doing? He's kind of up, and he's also got his arms down, and he's going to make it awfully hard for Travis Best to get something good going. What a great defensive job. I was worried about that. But now, on the other hand, here's the only weakness I can see. The only one he's got is against the zone. This is a 2-3 zone. Right? What Grant Hill would like him to do, as Dick also pointed out, is penetrate there. If he can get through those two guys. But the only problem is what happens when he makes passes it and he wants to get it back, okay, to take against the zone a three-point shot. His penetration got it, and see that step? He goes inside the three. All right, why? Well, you know how many he's taken this year? 0. You know how many he's taken his whole career, three-pointers? 2. And so that's the only weakness he has. That's it. I can't find another one because I know there is something he can do that Hurley can't do, that a lot of point guards can't do, a lot of players can't do. Look at this. No point guard gets that done. Hey, Grant Hill, we're looking at 8 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He is a great player. Grabbing the ball about 5 feet outside the rim, bringing it in. No, point guards do not do that. Let's check some more scores and highlights. We'll move it right now to the Big 8. Iowa State on the road. Tough place to go. Lawrence, Kansas to face #4 Kansas. Donis Jordan had it going tonight. Justice Thigpen misses the free throw. Rex Walters over the head. Saves the pass to Jordan, who goes coast to coast between two Cyclones and score. 10-0 run for Kansas. Then Jordan again. Nice open court move. Kansas by 15. And then Adonis Jordan one more time. This time he just pulls up at the three-point line and knocks it down. Roy Williams on the way to an easy victory. Just about 9 seconds left there. 91-58 is the final. Adonis Jordan right now with 25 points for Kansas in this game. The Cyclones have not won in Lawrence since '82. Meanwhile, in the Big Ten, #4 Indiana on the road at Minnesota. Indiana clobbered the Golden Gophers last time. Bob Knight looking to do it again against Clem Haskins. Calvert Chaney and Vashawn Leonard exchanging greetings. Double technical was called. Chaney then doing this kind of talking. Slams it down, tied at 41. Nate Tubbs then shot off the save, and it's in. Gophers up by 2. And right now, Minnesota is clinging to a 5-point lead. 50 seconds to go in this game. Minnesota looking to go 7-4 in the conference. Indiana would drop to 8-2. Big 8, Kansas State at #9, Missouri, 67-59. Jamal Coleman and Anthony Peeler with 19 points apiece. The SEC, Vanderbilt loses at Arkansas as Arkansas ends a 2-game losing streak. Todd Day with 25 points for the Razorbacks. Big 10, Wisconsin at #12, Michigan State, 76-61. This one was a close game earlier. Dwayne Stevens and Chris Wyszynski with 14 points apiece. And also in the Big 10, Iowa at Michigan. 2:30 to go in this one. 3-point game. Don't go away yet. The last time these two teams hooked up, it went to overtime. Plenty more to come during this halftime in the ACC. But right now, a look at some more scores on this Wednesday night. Florida and Mississippi in overtime in the SEC.
We interrupt this recession for an important announcement. Payment Protection Plus is here. Buy or lease a new Volkswagen now, and if you incur a layoff during the first 3 years of your finance contract, we'll cover your car payments. Plus, we'll cover your car insurance payments. And the best part, you never have to pay us back. Up to $500 a month for up to a full year. Payment Protection Plus. Call now. It's revolutionary, and it's only from Volkswagen.
Now, you can get every magic moment all in one incredible video. Magic Johnson, always Showtime. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the nation's #1 sports weekly. Call this toll-free number now and follow the leader up and down the court from high school to college to the pros. Magic keeps winning with a spirit and style that changed the NBA.
Magic's 18-footer.
Don't miss the rookie's first NBA championship. Enjoy all the battles with the legendary Larry Bird as they fight for the last shot.
Down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12.
Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video plus 54 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue, for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. The magic of Urban Johnson will always be something special. Treasure it forever. And every week, enjoy all the emotion and drama of sports in Sports Illustrated.
And tomorrow night, another doubleheader will start in the ACC. Number 23, Florida State at Virginia. Jim Valvano and I will be there for that game. And then Temple at Memphis State in a non-conference game at the Tomb of Doom at 9:30 Eastern time. Right now, here's a look at some more scores. Providence a winner again as they're trying to put on a rush. And Rutgers over West Virginia. West Virginia had been on a roll leading the Atlantic 10.
Répétez.
All across the country, cable television is beginning to change the way we live. In small ways.
Great ridicchio.
And in more important ways. And today, no one brings cable television to more people than TCI.
Okay. I'll give you 2 Toby Bartles for 1 Danny Baxter.
Barlow couldn't buy a Wicked.
A few years ago, TCI brought cable television to the people of Fergus County, Montana. Residents report, Fergus County hasn't been the same place since.
Hot enough for you, Red?
Well, actually, Merle, recent meteorological trends do appear to validate suppositions about global warming, the so-called greenhouse effect, as it were. Fill her up.
Here's your chance to be on ESPN's Body Shaping at an exotic location like this.
Or win a selection of body shaping products designed to keep you in shape.
And the grand prize is a trip for 2 to beautiful Jamaica and an appearance on Body Shaping.
Call 1-900-786-2333. 95 cents per call. Callers under 18 need parents' permission or send your name, age, and phone number on a postcard to this address.
And watch Body Shaping twice each weekday on ESPN.
We interrupt this recession for an important announcement. Payment Protection Plus is here. Buy or lease a new Volkswagen now, and if you incur a layoff during the first 3 years of your finance contract, we'll cover your car payments. Plus, we'll cover your car insurance payments. And the best part, you never have to pay us back. Up to $500 a month for up to a full year. Payment Protection Plus. Call now. It's revolutionary, and it's only from Volkswagen.
Due to time constraints, we're moving ahead to a later point in this game. Please stay tuned to ESPN for the best in college basketball throughout the rest of the season. On Big Monday, you can see the Big East, the Big 8, and the Big West. On Tuesday, it's the Big 10, followed by the SEC. On Wednesday, it's the ACC and the Big East. Various other conferences will be shown on Thursday and Saturday. All right here on ESPN.
We interrupt this recession for an important announcement. Payment Protection Plus is here. Buy or lease a new Volkswagen now, and if you incur a layoff during the first 3 years of your finance contract, we'll cover your car payments. Plus, we'll cover your car insurance payments. And the best part, you never have to pay us back. Up to $500 a month for up to a full year. Payment Protection Plus. Call now. It's revolutionary, and it's only from Volkswagen.
State Farm sells life insurance. In fact, we've been there protecting hopes and dreams for families for over 60 years. And we're there for your family today with the life insurance value you're looking for. You see, the cost of State Farm life insurance is among the lowest in the industry. So, you get an outstanding value from a company with a long history of financial stability. Isn't that what you're looking for in a life insurance plan for the people who are counting on you?
State Farm sells life insurance.
There's a place in Louisiana just outside New Orleans. They call it the plantation country of Baton Rouge. Louisiana, we're really cooking. Give us a call.
We were really cooking, man,
ESPN's NCAA basketball is brought to you by Volkswagen. Enjoy the unique European driving experience called Fahrvergnügen. Only in a Volkswagen. By Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know. Call 1-800-HOLIDAY or your travel agent for reservations. And by ESPN Home Video, producers and distributors of Dick Vitale's College Hoop Superstars. Available at video and retail stores nationwide.
Clem Haskins is quietly having a pretty good year. 71-67. They beat Indiana to go 7-4 in the conference and 15-9 overall. Right now, let's go back to Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale in the ACC.
John, thanks very much. And that's a shocker. 36-27 here. Duke leading by 9 over Georgia Tech. Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale, welcome back to the Thriller Dome in Atlanta. And Dick, you said at the beginning of the game it was going to be up to the Georgia Tech guards to play well and take the pressure off the inside guys. They did not do that.
Well, they were 4 for 14 in the first half, but I'm shocked, John Saunders, on that score. Minnesota lost to them by 46, and they come back and beat them. Great win for Clem to Jem Haskins. But getting to this game, the guards have to pick it up. Grant Hill, I thought, played really well. Duke became more of a half-court game, but he really did an exceptional job there handling the ball. They only turned it over as a team 6 times, Duke, in the entire first half.
And the slam he made was Indianapolis revisited. Just a tremendous play. Take a look at this and watch. He'll go toward the basket and then has to fall away to get the ball and still throws it down.
That was created by the screen by Leitner up on top. We look right here. Georgia Tech only shooting 39% as a team. Doing a great job rebounding, but really getting no points off any turnovers. And their backcourt, Best and Barry, 4 for 14 is not going to get it done.
Georgia Tech has been in a shooting slump. The last 8 games, they've only shot 41% from the floor, and that won't get it done, especially against Duke. 9-point lead. And there is the stat story on Best and Barry. And on top of that, Best did not penetrate and dish off very much. Thomas Hill into the lane.
Right now, they have to find a way, Georgia Tech, to get a spurt and a run, make something happen defensively. They're a little bit too passive defensively, and Hill gets the easy basket.
Geiger working hard for it inside, trying to get the ball. This is Forrest. Best. Now Geiger, and he is fouled by Lang. That will be 3 on Antonio Lang.
Foul is on Antonio Lang.
That is a physical mismatch inside.
I'll tell you one thing, I just admire, and I know Bobby has great respect for Mike Krzyzewski, but the job he does mentally with his players in preparing for a game, especially road games.
Best is fouled by Brian Davis. That'll be his second. Couldn't maintain his balance.
Mike, we talk about how difficult it's to win on a road. You can win a lot of games on a road with a guy like this as your catalyst, Christian Leitner, who gives you that versatility, inside-outside play. But you think about it, Indiana loses on a road, Arkansas gets beat on a road, but Duke always finds a way, it seems, to come up with the big performance.
This is Barry, guarded by Thomas Hill, an excellent defender. Got around him on a screen, had to dump it into the lane, gets it back. This is Best, and he throws it away as Barry cut toward midcourt.
And they've really done a great job of keeping Bobby Cremins' home crowd out of the picture. You don't hear any noise here at all. It's very, very passive, and normally this place is rocking.
Duke already leading by 11. They have the ball. Georgia Tech has turned it over 13 times against that Blue Devil defense. Leitner for three. Lang missed the follow, but he will draw the foul.
They are hustling Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is very lethargic and very flat. There really isn't a whole lot of intensity and enthusiasm on the floor. There's Leitner wide open, shooting the three. No one rotates out on him. There's the long rebound. Comes off deep. Hill takes it up. Gets fouled on a play.
Foul on Best on a reach-in. Lang goes to the line for the second time tonight. He missed his first try. Has 2 points. Only averages 5.5 a game. He is an excellent offensive rebounder. In fact, this year, he has more offensive rebounds than he does at the other end of the court.
I thought that was Hill that slid in there, Thomas Hill, but it was Antonio Lang. They have their real versatile guys in Lang, Hill, Davis, Grant Hill. They're athletes. They're runners, jumpers, very quick.
Lang hits the second of two. It is a 12-point lead. Duke has hit only 2 of 8 free throws.
There is no substitute for quickness. I love quick athletes. You can do so many things with them in terms of pressing defensively. And Mike, with his style of defense, where they attack and are so aggressive, they really have such an advantage with the kind of athletes he has.
Duke warned for touching the ball after it came through the basket.
See, look how he's drifting right here. Grant Hill off Travis Best.
Barry trying to get around Hill. Hits the runner.
John Barry is such a fiery guy, such a fierce competitor.
He has a dozen.
They have to pick it up right now defensively. They're going to make some things happen with their defense.
And they've gone to a man-to-man to try to do just that.
I think that's a great call by Bobby Cremins. Get a little aggressive. Duke has the great motion game, but right now they were too flat sitting in that 2-3.
Barry has a tough matchup here with Grant Hill. Gives up 3 inches. And Hill will reset it with 16 on the shot clock.
Great spacing. Notice how they 15, 17 feet apart. Tough to double up.
Grant Hill almost had it stolen. Got it off to Davis. Baseline jumper won't go. And there's a foul underneath.
This is where Georgia Tech's got to come up with a spurt. They got to put an 8-1, 8-2 spurt to get back into the hunt.
Foul is on Leitner. That's his second, the third team foul against Duke here in the second half. Georgia Tech has committed only 1.
What a complete player he has become. He's got to be the MVP of the ACC.
ACC Male Athlete of the Year a year ago, MVP in the Final Four, 2-time All-American, soon to be 3-time, maybe Player of the Year in the country.
Has a great chance for that. Jimmy Jackson certainly in a running.
Forrest almost took it away from Best, and then he had it blocked at the baseline by Thomas Hill. What a defensive play. And Grant Hill back to Thomas Hill, but he traveled.
Gave it up again, a step a little bit too quickly. Gave the ball up a little early. Grant Hill should have waited for Thomas to get that extra step going toward the goal. Watch right here. Now here comes Grant Hill. See where he gives the ball up? One more dribble, and then he should have dropped the pass.
It's a 10-point game with 17:15 to go. Forrest slashes toward the basket.
That's what he has to add to his game. Take the ball to the goal with some authority and some power rather than always shooting that little perimeter shot. Now here comes the Thriller Dome. Now they're getting alive. They're waking up.
Forrest has 10. The lead is cut to 8. Leitner against Geiger. Nice pass to Hill, and he traveled.
I'd get a TO right now. I'd call a timeout, baby. There it is. Mike K, get the TO.
Mike Krzyzewski wants to talk it over. That's the 8th turnover by the Blue Devils. 16:55 to go in the game. The lead has been cut to
8. The intelligent engineering that powered this Oldsmobile to a world record 257 miles per hour now moves a new Oldsmobile to over 30 highway miles per gallon. Introducing Achieva by Oldsmobile. Never has so much thought gone into this much fun. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What do you want with your fries?
The one-of-a-kind taste of McDonald's Big Mac or the Big Beefy Quarter Pounder with cheese. Either way, in the McDonald's Extra Value Meal, you always get an order of world-famous fries and a Coke Classic. But you gotta pick the burger.
Dominic, the lane was yours.
How'd you get inside? Hey, what can I say?
Dominic, what do you want with your fries?
Hey, now there's a question.
What you want is what you get.
The Extra Value Meal.
At McDonald's today.
What do you want with your fries?
25% of business people travel to small towns. That's why from Opelika, Alabama to Calais, France, you'll find us. Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know who really knows you.
This Valentine's Day, make sure you send your sweetheart the FTD flower basket bouquet. Oh, and make sure you send it a day or two early, because as Cupid says, if your sweetheart misses out...
It's as easy as FTD.
3M salutes the Olympic athletes who found a better way. Whose ideas were so original, there's no going back. That same innovative thinking led us to invent Scotchgard brand protector, and things have looked newer longer ever since. 3M, innovation working for you.
Duke leads Georgia Tech 39-31, 16:55 to go in the game. In the last 7 years, only one time has Georgia Tech not had the ACC Freshman of the Year. That was 1987. There's some great players in there, and they have Travis Best and James Forrest contending for it this year. Here's a whistle away from the ball. It will go against Duke, holding inside.
Here's a look at Best and Forrest, certainly going to make a run for the 7th Rookie of the Year. My choice, I'd go to Florida State. I'd go to Tallahassee, and I'd get Bob Saha. He's been consistent all year down there. He's done a great job for Pat Kennedy. Forrest is coming on strong. Best is really right now in a little bit of a slump. He played better earlier this year.
The foul on Antonio Lang was his 4th. And he goes to the Duke bench. Cherokee Parks, number 44, comes back in. Forrest. Boy, he's got great rotation on that shot.
Well, he squares his body exceptionally well, Mike. He puts his shoulders and entire body looking at the basket.
Forrest has a dozen. The lead is cut to 6, but Grant Hill answers at the other end.
Nice change of direction by Grant Hill. Gets a good rhythm off the dribble to shoot the jumper. See how he's playing off Best?
Here's Berry trying to get by Thomas Hill. Geiger hasn't touched the ball most of the second half. Berry off-balance jumper won't go.
Can't win with those kind of shots, Mike. You got to get the shots within the offense. He's trying to make things happen, but that's a Forrest bad shot.
Here's Thomas Hill against Berry. Leitner top of the circle. Georgia Tech ball.
Trying to run the backdoor cut to Davis.
Best all the way in. He's fouled on the way in. And now they'll call it on Best. And Bobby Crimmins is beside himself. And now the crowd realizes what they call.
Travis Best, even though he got called for the foul, that's what he has to do. He's got to pick up the tempo of the game and push the ball up the floor and try to utilize his good speed and explosiveness.
They must have ruled that he pushed off with the free arm. Hill, nice pass to Leitner, and a good pass to Davis in the lane. He's clobbered.
Duke's does such a fantastic job of going to the free throw line. They really attack the defense, whether it be dribble penetration or interior passing, and that's why they go to the line. They make more free throws than their people attempt against them. Look at this. Michigan gets a W. Georgetown up 11 to Connecticut. What has happened to the Huskies?
The last foul was on Mackey. He has 3. Forrest thought he committed the personal.
I would like to see Alonzo Mourning play with a cast like Duke has, and you'd see how talented this guy would be. Everybody knows he's talented.
Well, Duke is nigh well unbeatable at this point. That would help a little, wouldn't it?
Hey, 1968. Ready for this little trivia? Mike Krzyzewski came here, played point guard for West Point. Had a coach by the name of Bobby Knight. They were 18-3. But they left here. They were upset, baby, by the Ramblin' Wreck right on this floor.
Davis hits a pair of free throws. The lead is back to 10.
Mike had 6 that game. Al Serraldo, the voice of Georgia Tech basketball, gave me that little bit of trivia.
Forrest dumps it low to Geiger, who had nice position on Parks. Got the basket and the foul.
Bobby Clemens should run around and grab his players and introduce them to Matt Geiger. Say, hey, we got a 7-footer who's got a great touch. Look at him right inside against Parks, showing his experience. There's the head fake. Oh, Cherokee, you left something on the floor. And Leitner comes over too late. They don't get the ball inside enough to guys like Mr. Geiger and Mr. Mackey.
First foul against Cherokee Parks, 15th foul against Duke in the second half. Geiger short on the free throw. Forrest got a hand on it. Mackey will come out with it. Now out to Best, and they'll reset after nearly throwing it away.
I would go to a power game right now, try to get the good angle and dump it inside to Mackey or Geiger.
Barry leans into a three, missed it, got his own rebound, goes up and is stripped again. And you're right, Dick, he's just trying to do too much. Leitner on the run. A lot of contact. What a block by Geiger.
I think that was interference up there. I really do. I believe he got away with one.
So does Mike Krzyzewski, but Geiger came out of nowhere.
He definitely got away with one. There's Grant Hill. He centers the ball to Leitner. Leitner takes it down the gun of the defense. Now you tell me that's not coming down. It's up, it's in. There it is.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yes, there's no way. That should have been definitely called interference up there on the rim. But Geiger playing aggressively, but they don't get him to rock.
Officially, that will be 5 blocks tonight for Geiger. Grant Hill with a miss and an offensive foul on Grant Hill.
I would take John Barry out for about a minute.
He's struggling, Dick.
Just sit him down, talk to him. He's too good a player, and then get him back on the floor. Just rest him for a moment.
He's falling away or leaning into shots. You pointed out earlier, he has not gone straight up on one of them in the second half.
And he's such a competitor that he's trying to make it happen, and it's not there to happen.
Forrest to Mackey, back to Forrest. Tough shot, won't go, but he's fouled. This guy will be a great player before he's done.
Absolutely, Mike. There's no doubt he's going to be one of the real special players ever to wear a uniform for Bobby Clemens. Look at Bobby. He's drawn. They don't know what he's drawing. Look at all those X's and O's. He's scribbling his... He was drawing all that when he walked into the living room and he recruited Mark Price, one of his first big-time recruits. Price looked at that. He said, what is this? And finally he said, Mark, just play, and I'd love to coach you. Mark said, I'm
shoot the jump shots. Forrest hits the free throw. 13 points, a couple of rebounds. He's one of those guys that just has a presence out there. You take one look at him and you say, yeah, he can play.
He scored 2,762 points. He was right up there with Chris Webber, Glenn Robinson, and all the great ones coming out of high school.
Georgia Tech has cut it to 6, and Bobby Clemens wants full court pressure. Leitner dribbling behind the back, almost lost it.
They made a good decision, Bobby Clemens, adjusting and going out of the 2-3 zone where they were a little passive to the man-to-man.
Davis, they lay off of him. Better not lay off of Leitner.
Cherokee Parks has got to get involved offensively a little more. He played 12 minutes in the first half, didn't have a point, and only had 1 rebound. He's too talented.
Hardly ever touches the ball. Leitner double team, put it up with the left hand. They'll get Geiger for the foul, his second. And a smart play by Leitner. First he goes for the head fake and then puts it up with the offhand to draw the foul. .52 to go. 43-37. Leitner, the first trip to the line tonight. 9 points.
Duke is coming to this game, Mike, 428 for 574. Their opponents have come to the line only 313 times. They've made 428.
Leitner is only the 7th player in the history of the Atlantic Coast Conference to score 2,000 points and have 1,000 rebounds, and Duke has had 3 of those 7.
I'll tell you how tough is this conference. You pick an all-conference team. You go Hurley and Williams, Leitner, Stith, and Gugliotta. What about Rodney Rogers and Grant Hill?
No kidding.
Duke's changed defenses right now. They've rotated into the zone. Little matchup 2-3 zone right now by the Duke team.
Geiger to the baseline, missed the shot. Forrest, blocked by Cherokee Parks. Here comes Duke on the run. Davis, offensive foul on Davis.
Excellent job defensively by Georgia Tech, rotating back. Barry does a great job getting back defensively to take the charge.
That will be 4 on Brian Davis. Antonio Lang is already on the bench with 4.
Here goes Davis. Barry is definitely right there.
Nice defensive play. So often when you struggle with your shot, it affects your defense. But Barry hung in there that time.
Well, he plays so hard. He's always playing with intensity, John Barry. Duke trying to match up out of this 2-3 zone. That simply means try to align with a man in the area of the floor that you're guarding.
Forrest out of his range where he is there. So is Mackey.
See Cherokee Park's trying to find where the guy is in his area of the floor, always communicating. Communication is so important in his defense.
Nice pass to Geiger, but he misses a shot and a good inside rebound by Leitner. 45-37. Every time Georgia Tech seems to make a run, Duke has an answer.
Well, Grant Hill calls for their 2-3 set. We're going to try to get some motion and try to get a backdoor cut out of this. They'll try to go foul lane extended to take away any help defensively. Oklahoma State does a great job of running this.
Now, what do you do defensively as a coach when they go to this?
Well, you stay in your man-to-man, but you got to communicate and maybe do a little switching, too, defensively. Almost try to zone up in it, really.
Mike Krzyzewski gesturing on the sideline. Shot clock is at 5. Leitner fakes the 3, takes the 2 inside the lane, and drains it.
What makes him so special, Mike, he has excellent hands. He has tremendous hands.
Leitner has 13. Forrest to the baseline. Geiger going after the rebound. Can't get it, but Mackey does. What a steal by Thomas Hill!
I mean, he looked like a defensive back. If I were an NFL scout right now, I would chart that, and I'd say, you know what? I think this guy's a defensive back.
Great anticipation, and then a tremendous move and a one-hand catch. He palmed that thing like a softball.
Hey, primetime Deion Sanders right here in Atlanta couldn't make that play.
47-37. Duke's lead back to 10. 11 and a half minutes to go in the game.
See, they're running that motion game. Everybody's fouling, extended up high to try and take away any help. You can get some good dribble penetration out of it. Now they slide into an offensive set out of a 1-2-2 set. Little curl move to get the ball up to Leitner.
Leitner down the lane to Cherokee Parks. Got the roll on the runner, and the lead is back to a dozen.
You just take a look at Parks, and you know he's going to become a heck of a college basketball player.
But how many times since Mike Krzyzewski has built this program, a freshman as talented as Parks comes in, and he goes through the learning process. Here is another steal by Hill against Barry, and a block by Barry.
Now they got a foul on Barry.
But that's a great play to stop the shot.
Yeah, he stopped the jam. That would have been a jam and a real momentum builder. Now at least he puts him to the free throw line. You know, you made a great point about the Duke program, and you bring it to Cherokee Parks. As opposed to a lot of schools where you recruit that so-called blue chipper, and he has to come in and be an immediate impact player. With Duke, they fill part of the puzzle. They don't have to be the king of the puzzle.
Exactly. Newbill is in. The foul was on Barry, his second, the 15th foul. And Thomas Hill will go to the line. 12 points, but he's 0 for 2 from the line. And you saw Geiger on the bench getting a break.
And the beat goes on and on for Duke. Next year they add Chris Collins. Doug Collins' son, an outstanding shooter, one of the 2 premier players right now, the senior class in Illinois. If he's anything like that, will he be something special?
Oh, yeah.
And then they got a kid by the name of Tony Moore from out of the Baltimore, Maryland area. And I know that Gary Williams really wanted Moore badly.
50-37. Hill trying to make it a 14-point lead and does. 10 minutes, 52 seconds to go from Atlanta, and Duke trying to get some breathing room.
Now that everybody wants a big taste of Pepsi, they're going to need a new slogan.
I got it. Pepsi, a wacky cola.
Pepsi tastes great, but only if you drink it.
The Jimmy Connors of colas.
I was going to say that.
Tastes good and makes a wonderful gift.
Wild, young, thirsty, and free.
If all these people gotta have it, why don't they just say Pepsi? Gotta have it.
There it is.
Gotta have it.
I got 2 words for you. Gotta have
it. It's all been thought out. All engineered. Precisely where you want it. So where would you put a cockpit like this? In a rocket, of course. Introducing Achieva by Oldsmobile. Never has so much thought gone into this much fun. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Chunky introduces another big chicken noodle soup. New classic chicken noodle. Titanic chunks of chicken, broad noodles, and hearty vegetables, all in a robust chicken broth. New Chunky classic chicken noodle. Soup so big, it eats like a meal.
The IBM Laser Printer 10 can print me with 600 dots per inch of resolution. The leading laser printer, 300. Which can look a lot less sharp. The new IBM laser printers put you pages ahead.
Gillette presents Sensor, the system, the technology that will change the way you shave forever. Sensor, twin blades set on springs to read your face and respond. Independent suspension to sense and adjust to every curve of your face. No other razor comes close. Gillette Sensor, for the best shave a man can get.
Duke has lengthened its lead to 14 points, 51-37. Mike Krzyzewski, when he came here, most people look at the record now and they don't remember the hard times. When he took over from Bill Foster, 17-13 the first year, then tough times, had to rebuild, and since then, Dick, he has just pounded people, and of course wins the national championship last year, goes to the Final Four 5 out of 6 times.
I think that's really awesome what you just said. Final Four 5 out of 6 times. Most coaches dream if you can get there one time in your career. But you know what really blows my mind totally? An MVP who's not here, but he's back at Durham, North Carolina, is a guy by the name of Tom Butters, the athletic director, to have the ability to recognize that Mike Krzyzewski was a good choice, because coming out of West Point, he had a losing record his last year, and not many guys are going to go from a losing record there last year of coaching to a big-time program like Duke, coming from a low-major college program like West Point. Bobby Knight did a great salesman job on Tom Butters, and then Mike Krzyzewski sold it and completed it and finalized it when he was interviewed.
Tom Butters has made a lot of classy decisions as the athletic director of Duke. And Georgia Tech needs a bucket here badly. Their confidence has been shaken since the first loss against Duke.
Duke right now playing that zone defensively.
Best cuts through it, gets it to Brian Hill, drives the baseline, missed the shot.
Brian got a lot of playing time last year, started 27 games.
We hit the 10-minute mark. It's a 14-point lead.
Duke's got so many weapons. They got outstanding coaching. They got good personnel. They have excellent scouting with guys like Peter Gadet on the sideline, Mike Gray, Tommy Amica. Michigan State gets another W. One of the most improved players, Mike Peplowski. Look at that shocker. Minnesota, 50-point swing. Cupcake City right there for Cincinnati. Arkansas back with a 20-point blowout. Hey, unbelievable when you think about losing by 46 and coming back and winning. Minnesota over Indiana.
Forrest is Georgia Tech's leading scorer with 14. He's getting a rest right now. Thomas Hill has 14 and Leitner 13 for the Blue Devils.
The big problem right now for Georgia Tech is, number one, they can't get anything off their defense. They can't get any easy baskets against Duke.
Tech has not scored in the last 5 minutes. And here's the backcourt points. Barry with a dozen. Best has none. But Barry has hit only 2 of 6 3-pointers and forced some other shots.
Yeah, really a lot of forced shots. It's been a real tough 12 points.
Down by 14, time to go to work. Grant Hill is out on Barry. That's not a good matchup for Georgia Tech.
Well, the zone defense really forces you to be patient and takes a lot of time off that clock.
There, Barry had a chance to get the shot. Forced that one up, and it's an air ball, and Grant Hill gets the rebound.
Bobby Crimmins just insists on keeping him on the floor.
Duke has scored the last 8 after the lead had been cut to 6.
Well, they go to that motion game, use some time. If they have the early backdoor cut, they'll take it. But then they'll run some time and then get into a set offensively.
Leitner trying to get by Newbill. Goes to the baseline, and Newbill will be called for the personal. The sophomore out of Macon, Georgia, picks up his second.
Well, he's a physical player. He came out of the same high school that produced Eric Manuel, who I thought got a raw deal when he was involved in a Kentucky situation, but right now is playing on an unbeaten team at Oklahoma City, #1 in NAIA.
Coming up Wednesday, Syracuse and St. John's. That's a 7 o'clock start. And then number 6, North Carolina, will go against an improving Virginia team. That is next Wednesday. Vincent is in for the first time. Number 24 for Georgia Tech.
I can't wait to get down to Big East country. I'm going to be down there at Madison Square Garden to see the Orange Men. Jimmy Boeheim, I know they lost to Seton Hall, but we've said it time and time again, Mike, under all kinds of adversity this year. He's done an amazing job coaching with the weight of an NCAA investigation hanging over him.
But I can't remember the Big East as a conference struggling the way they have this year.
Well, they don't have any real heavyweights. They got a lot of good teams, a lot of parity, but they don't have a heavyweight knockout team.
Leitner working against Geiger, and Duke doing its best against the clock. 8:15 to go.
Just spreading the court, taking advantage of their one-on-one ability, using some time. Good athletes, I'll tell you. Grant Hill, so poised. Just meet his dad and you understand why. Calvin Hill.
Exactly, and poised, I think, is the perfect word, Dick, because they can come down to 6 seconds.
Oh, look at that move. Are you serious?
Like that.
Are you serious? A little one-on-one move. That, my friends, John Feinstein, the fine writer, said he thinks ultimately he'll be the greatest player ever to play at Duke. I don't know about that, but I know he'll be one of the top 5 ever to play at Duke.
Well, that goes a long way.
There have been so many great ones.
There have been a few good ones there.
Art Heyman, Jeff Mullins, Johnny Dawkins.
Travel called on Geiger, and Duke turns it over again. Down by 16. They have just found themselves a lot of trouble with 7:35 to go in the ballgame.
Texaco is proud to be a continuing sponsor of the Georgia Tech athletic program, including the...
If you have a hair loss problem, Masterlink Hair Weaving and Hair Replacement has news for you. Innovators in the hair care field, only Masterlink can enhance your image with state-of-the-art hair replacements. No clips, no braids, and no adhesives. Only 100% human hair processes and our own remarkable method of attachment can give you the flexibility and style no other hair replacement can come close to. Call for information or an appointment. For men and women, Masterlink, the state-of-the-art of quality.
The legend in steak is steak at its best. That's not really news. But when Steak and Ale serves prime rib, the best of the legend, at a special price, that's news. Every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday night, prime rib is just $8.95 with baked potato and fresh salad bar. Every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday night, just $8.95. That's the news from Steak and Ale.
Duke has stretched it out to a 16-point lead with 7:35 to go in the game. We showed you Mike Krzyzewski's early years and then the progress he made at Duke. The same for Bobby Crimmins. And I remember doing ACC games when Bobby Crimmins first got this job. This was one of the worst major college programs in the country. He had absolutely nothing here and has built a great program.
Well, they were 4-23. He's a member of my all-Frank Lloyd Wright team. All architects, I mean, builders of programs. Bobby Crimmins has done an amazing job, as you said, in a situation where a lot of people said it was impossible because of the academic requirements. But he went out there, he recruited and recruited. He's a great salesman, and he's liked by so many people. And plus, he has a great love for the game. He's just a people guy. He's loved by people. I mean, half of coaching, really, when you think about it, is communicating. That's what it's all about. And he's an excellent communicator.
It's an awful lot to recommend to 2 coaches we have tonight, isn't it?
Wow.
Davis back in with 4 fouls as Duke works on the clock again. 7:19 to go.
Can't hand check him. Come on, Matt, get the hands off him. You can't hand check him.
Georgia Tech is averaging 83 points a game. They have scored 37 tonight. Of course, Duke has played a slow tempo game too. Well, they averaged 92. They've scored 53.
We talked about on top of the show that their personality as a team would change without Bob Hurley, that they become more of a half-court team. And this is what they are. And Mike's made a great adjustment with this team.
Shot clock at 4. Thomas Hill. Shot clock at 1. Here's a foul underneath.
And he gets fouled on the shot. Runs the entire clock down. Travis Best, TV out of Springfield, Mass. He's got a lot of ability. Has just not had himself a good game.
That will be 3 on Travis Best.
You're looking right now at the guy at the head of the dean's list. I mean, you talk about the guy recognized by his peers today. I mean, if you asked an athletic director today, pick one guy you'd want to head your program, I'd guarantee the phone would ring in Durham, North Carolina.
2 shots.
And he's already proven he won't answer.
Tom Penders with a win. Penders' name keeps popping up. Down at UNLV. I don't think that's a great job. I'm going to tell you why. I don't think the Running Rebels job is great for the following 3 reasons. One, following Tarkanian is going to be a tough fill. Number two, unless you win unbelievably big, the people will not come out. You have to have an exciting team. This year, they're not drawing better than 8,000, 9,000 a game. And number three, they're going to change their whole philosophy, basically, in terms of their recruiting. They're coming with tougher academic requirements, and I don't think that is as exciting a job as a lot of people believe.
But I think it's a great move for the university to increase their standards.
Oh, there's no problem with that. But I think if you're a coach established like a Gene Cady and a Bobby Crimmins, you're not leaving for UNLV.
Forrest dumps it to Mackey. Thomas Hill reached in and slapped him. Somebody else got him from behind.
Speaking of UNLV, I mean, it's amazing. Jerry Tarkanian, you talk about adjusting. This year it goes to the zone defense. The 1-2-2 zone loses 5 starters, and he's won 17 in a row. Can he coach or what?
Fouls on Grant Hill, his third.
That's 3 on Grant Hill.
Mackey's really been nowhere to be found tonight. And a lot of that, again, I attribute to the backcourt play. I really do. I think that the big frontline players can only be as good as the performance of your perimeter people.
Mackey at the line for the first time, hits the free throw. And Georgia Tech had gone scoreless for so long.
Wow, look at this here.
Well, they're going to have to hustle. They need 27 in the last 6.5 minutes to catch that.
Well, they played poorly, I thought, also against Maryland. They were able to get the win. Walt Williams did not have a Walt Williams day, and we know how talented he is, and yet they were right there to win that game, Maryland.
Hill into the lane. Got the roll. 55-40. In effect, the three-point play, hitting the free throw and then that bucket.
Hill came out of the same high school that produced Tommy Amica, H.T. Woodson out of Virginia.
Geiger chases down Leitner, who's an outstanding ball handler. Grant Hill matched up with Mackey over here. Duke just working the clock, and they've gotten one easy shot after another at the end of this delay game.
Well, they try to get you, spread the court, get you in a one-on-one situation, trying to isolate Grant Hill, trying to force you to give some help, and then he'll find the open man.
Here's a push called on Geiger away from the ball. That will be 3 on Geiger.
His third.
I'll tell you right now, this game looks like it's almost academic, Mr. Patrick. The whole rhythm, the timing, the feel, the emotion in the arena. It looks like Duke is leaving here with number 1. I thought maybe tonight, see, I did some research. We were ready to say if Duke was going to get beat here tonight, who would be number 1? UCLA has to go at Oregon State, at Oregon. Oklahoma State's at Colorado, and then they have a tough one Saturday at Iowa State.
Duke has hit 10 out of 11 free throws in the second half. Remember, they were 1 for 6 in the first half. Very uncharacteristic. 5:42 to go in the game. The lead is back to 16. And Georgia Tech is going to need some threes. And Barry is the guy who shoots most of those.
Speaking of Bill Brill, the fine writer who really covers the Duke Blue Devils and really knows his basketball, he said he feels today's game is big. If they can get by this game, Duke, he really thinks they really almost put themselves in a great position to be the number 1 seed. I said, were you really in doubt as far as scores? He said, well, if they lost here today, then maybe had another loss, they could have lost the number 1 seed in the East.
Forrest is having another outstanding game. He's averaged 25 points a game his last 3. He has 16 tonight, and that's 16 of Georgia Tech's 42, so that's a lot bigger.
See right here, Geiger's got to come out here and play Leitner away from the basket, and he just neutralizes any ability Geiger has.
Brian Hill for Georgia Tech on Grant Hill for Duke. Under 5 minutes now. The lead is 15, and Geiger will be hit with his 4th foul.
Does such a great job of coaching. People say, Dick, what do you mean by great job of coaching? He right now knows all his personnel, Mike Krzyzewski, the strengths and weaknesses, and he's taken advantage of certain matchups on the floor by putting guys in one-on-one situations like he did there with Leitner and Geiger 25 feet away from the floor.
Of course, Leitner is probably the last guy you want to put on the line. He's 3rd in the ACC, hits 82%, 13.7 rebounds tonight for Christian Leitner.
Well, I'll tell you about a guy that does a great job sitting on that Duke bench right next to Mike Krzyzewski, former West Point head coach Peter Godet. What a scout. Just sit and talk to him about the strengths of different clubs. There he is. Look at that coaching staff. Gray, Krzyzewski, Gaudet, and Tommy Amica. And somebody is going to hire Tommy Amica, and he is going to be another outstanding coach when he gets an opportunity.
59-42. Nice baseline drive by Mackey. Shot won't fall. Forrest with a rebound and the follow. Give Forrest 18 points for the night.
Well, he's not getting enough help, but James Forrest certainly came to play.
He is something special. So is Grant Hill. I mean, you take this guy 6'8", 215, goes to the point. This foul will be called on Brian Hill. He was going for the steal.
Look at Brian. He says to Dickie Paparo, come on, Dick. He's using his hand to get free. Bobby Cremins was a heck of a point guard. That's Tommy Amica.
South Carolina.
Just needs about 2 or 3 more years with the Duke program. The phone will ring. And Mike Kay will place him in the proper job, and he will do a job. And there's Peter Gaudet now talking to Cherokee Parks, former head coach at West Point. And Mike delegates responsibilities so well. Doesn't try to do everything by himself.
Grant Hill to the line for the first time, 74% free throw shooter. Duke is so good in every aspect of the game. The only weakness we saw, and that came in the North Carolina game with Hurley being hurt, was if you are real big and really aggressive inside, you might be able to outmuscle them, but that's about it.
Eric Montross played a great game, and so did Salvador. They had a great comeback, North Carolina, against Wake Forest.
Very nice dump down to Mackey, who gets the layup, but trading baskets doesn't do Georgia Tech any good at this point.
Well, they just can't get anything off their defense. Can't force the turnover and get the steal. Look at the great spacing, always in the proper position.
That's the other thing about Duke. They handle the ball so well.
Well, all their people really can handle the basketball.
And 3:55 left.
And they have the perfect alignment all the time. Seem to be always in the proper set. Always have an answer for the defense. No matter what the defense plays, they seem to have an answer.
Now, here's the point where I think you should back the defense down. The shot clock's at 10 seconds. Go ahead. Let them come in.
Good call, Coach Patrick. I like it. Hey, let me do the play-by-play. You be the analyst. Come on. Right now, there's the jump shot. I'll call the play-by-play.
They got it off before the 45-second shot clock expired. You like that one, though, huh?
No, I admire you guys that do the play-by-play. You guys are really the pilots, and we're the co-pilots.
Berry for 3. Off balance again, but at this point, he needs to shoot the 3 no matter what.
Layton is getting a real kick playing with the rock out on the perimeter. He says, look at me, I can handle my left, I go around my back.
Berry goes for the steal, nearly got it from Lang, but not quite. And Georgia Tech is going to drop its 8th game of the year.
Notice how the raw foul line extended. See right there to try and take help away. Out here in an isolation. What a great job. Look at Mike still coaching. He knows that this is a planned attack. I mean, this is no accident what they're doing.
Oh, no. Leitner. And Leitner will be called for the foul as he pushed off.
Christian can't believe it. He says, don't they know that I am a candidate for Player of the Year?
Yeah,
don't they know I'm a cover guy? I'm an All-American? I'm a heartthrob on a Duke campus?
Duke is going to go to 19-1, remain #1. There is Bobby Hurley, who told us earlier he would be back in 2 weeks. Hurt his foot, broke a bone in the foot first half against North Carolina. Played in the second half, but said it had been hurting him anyway. Said he heard it pop.
You know he's dying to be on the floor. This kid just is a gym rat who loves basketball, eats, sleeps, drinks the game. He doesn't want to be there with the shirt and tie. He said, hey, I'm from Jersey City, man. I'm supposed to be cool, but at Duke, they said we got to wear these shirt and ties.
61-47 Blue Devils. Second shot missed. Forrest fights for it. Newbill got a hand on it, but knocked it out of bounds. We've got a timeout on the court. Only 2:35 left. Duke comfortably in front over Georgia Tech, 61-47.
It's all been thought out. Don't leave home without it.
Georgetown and Connecticut, and quite a comeback by the Huskies. They were down 16 in the second half. Watch Chris Smith. He gets hot, hangs, and knocks this one down. They have come back to tie the game. The Hoyas up 2 right now in the second half. Mike and Dick.
All right, thank you, John. Here, it's not that close. Duke 61, Georgia Tech 47. We only have 2:35 to go. And Duke has sewn it up in the second half. They've hit their last 15 free throws after such a miserable start in the first half.
Hey, how about our annual MVP award to John Saunders? I mean, that studio. All right, good night.
He wins it every year.
I'll tell you what, sitting in that studio, well, I mean, he's got to work in there with Jimmy V. I mean, that'll drive anybody bananas living in there. Are you kidding me?
Antonio Lang hit the two. This is Barry for three around the screen, but too little, too late.
Look at this here now. They're playing a little slam jam bam time.
Nice decision by Davis. Cut off, brings it back out. They'll work the clock.
What's
basket will count by... Oh, Grant Hill, are you kidding?
You know, it's amazing. You look at Grant Hill, and he seems to be very passive, but I really believe that's just his personality, that he's playing a heck of a lot harder than what you think. Showed great strength here, and his dad jumped out of his seat, and he hugged his wife. He said, that's our boy. Calvin says, that's our guy. Look at him. He's pumping, he's hanging, he's twisted. You got a great one there, Mr. Hill.
Boy, he is special. 17 points, 3 out of 3 from the line. It's 66-50.
I sent a note to Billy Packer sitting down to my left here doing a game locally about the Indiana score, and he sent back, wow, he's a 50-point swing. Minnesota, that's got to be the shock tomorrow. Minnesota beating Indiana.
Barry hits the layup, and Georgia Tech goes for the timeout with 1:57 left, down by 14.
Bobby Cremins has got to find a way to get some enthusiasm back in his club, and it's not getting easier. He really is fortunate he got that win over Maryland, because if he doesn't beat Maryland, Mike, he's coming here with a 5-game ACC losing streak. Lose today, that's 6 in a row in the ACC, so that win was big for his club.
Sure was.
Hey, look at my disappointments right here, Mike. You agree or disagree? Villanova's been 11 losses. South Carolina had all their starters back, basically. Georgia's been a disappointment, had a big win over LSU, shows they can play. Bill Frieda, what's happened to Arizona State? Wake Forest, I thought they'd be much better. A lot of people had them projected top 20 in the nation.
And more than projected, they were there a lot of the year. Maybe back again. They certainly have the elements, a lot like Georgia Tech. They have to play very, very well, but they can be in the top 20.
Well, I know you and I love Rodney Rogers. I mean, one of the great second-year players in America. Oh, backdoor cut. They missed Hill. Lang, rather.
But the clock, a bigger enemy right now. We're down to 1:30, and it's a 14-point lead for the Blue Devils.
This game's been academic for a long time, Mike, here in the second half. Anytime Duke needed the big play, they seem to always come up with it.
Dick, I don't remember since they went to this delay game that they turned the ball over one time. That's miraculous.
Great poise out of it.
Leitner tries a three, missed it. Rebound to Mackey. They'll try to set up Barry for another three if they can. Instead, Hill goes all the way in, and he is fouled.
Well, a nice time right now with a lead like that. Rotate back into the 2-3 zone. Jim Valvano was outstanding in doing that, changing defenses when he was at North Carolina State. Here's some of my surprises. Certainly the posse, Tulane, Perry Clark, coached under Bobby Cremins. Cincinnati, what a job by Huggins. He got a cupcake tonight. George Raveling, Southern Cal, staying coaching George. North Carolina, Charlotte.
Not surprised by that one, Dick.
Well,
I thought they would be that good this year.
Did you really?
With Jeff Mullins.
Well, Jeff Mullins has got a good player there at Henry Williams. Lost Jarvis Lang. Hey, I think, you know, look at George Raveling, the job he's done with Harold Miner. It looks like he's going to become the executive director of the NABC, replace Joe Van Sisson. I think George belongs as coaching. He's great for young people rather than pushing pens and pushing papers.
Lead cut to 13. We're down to a minute. And Duke has salted away its 19th win and 20 tries. Look at Leitner handle the ball.
You like it, huh?
He just knocked it in the backcourt. All you have to do is say something nice, and the guy will make his first mistake of the night.
Yeah, he made it really look good. That's not fair, Leitner, to my partner. We traveled all day today, got up 6 in the morning from down here. It was cold in Indiana.
Coming in, Marty Clark, as Leitner goes out of the ballgame, had another outstanding performance. Had 5 steals in the first half. Barry falls away on the jumper, hits this one. All at once, Barry has the hot hand, but it's 66-55 and only 44 seconds left. He has 19 points on the night, but it was his misses early and Travis Best's inability to penetrate and dish off any assists that really hurt Georgia Tech.
You talk about a staff. Bobby Cremins has head coaching guys on his staff. George Felton, Kevin Cantwell, who's the former head coach at Appalachian State. George Felton, former head coach at South Carolina. And then he's got Sherm Dillard. I mean, he is ready. I mean, absolutely ready for a head coaching job. He's paid his price. He's worked for Lefty Drizel, Lou Campanelli. He's worked here with Bobby Crevens, great recruiter, has good knowledge of the game, good with young people. There's a guy I would recommend if a job opened for some athletic director. Do you know him?
Of course, I certainly do, and I think he would be a heck of a candidate for somebody. Of course, a lot of times the stability of a program depends on being able to keep assistant coaches with you. Here are the upcoming games for the Blue Devils at slumping North Carolina State. Then they play Maryland, Wake Forest, and Virginia, and they should be certain favors in all 4 of those games, so you can project Duke at 23-1 by the time they get to the end of February.
I'll be there down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Right now, Les Robinson's team is just really basically one-dimensional with Tom Gugliotta and a bunch of young kids really giving their best, but they lost Corciani and Monroe, and I think you can anticipate what has happened there this year.
But I think Les Robinson will get it done. I'm really impressed by the guy.
I know you really like him, and I do too. Last year, I thought he did a solid job with that basketball team.
66-55, Georgia Tech with a full court press, not giving it up. And Duke will have to call a timeout to avoid the 5-second call.
I mean, you're not going to replace Corciani and Monroe.
Oh, no.
Those two guys were 2 great collegians. Jimmy did a tremendous job, he and his staff, recruiting those guys and really laying the groundwork by giving them a lot of experience.
Georgia Tech will have to go back to the drawing board, 16-8. They'll have to play at Florida State, a team that they had down here and lost to. Then against Virginia, Wake Forest, and NC State. And the way they're going right now, Dick, I guess every one of those games has got to be maybe a win, maybe a loss.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If they get 2 more wins, they're a lock for the NCAA tournament. They got 16 W's now, but the way they've been playing, every game has been a struggle. I mean, they could lose those 2 right there at Florida State and at Virginia.
When you start to lose your confidence as a coach, is there anything you can do to help them get it back?
I'll tell you one thing, that's the toughest thing in coaching because, you know, you can preach to people, well, you're not playing with confidence. Well, it's pretty tough to play with confidence when I'm 3 for 20. I mean, you walk to Travis Best now and you say, Travis, you've been struggling. You were 4 for 16 in one game, 3 for 14. Today, you got to play with confidence. And he looks at you like saying, hey, coach, how do you play with confidence unless you perform? It's anything in life. Confidence comes from success. The more success you have, the more confident you're going to be. Oh, Georgetown got that win over Connecticut.
After that big UConn comeback. This will be the lowest point total that Georgia Tech has scored the entire season.
They spread the court so well, Duke. They really occupy different positions on the floor in the spread situation, always 17 feet apart. I could go on and on about Mr. Kelly.
We said this earlier about Mike Krzyzewski. He is ringing up some numbers that can only remind you of what John Wooden did, and that is rarefied air when you get there.
I'll tell you one thing, as we look at Bob Hurley again, it's going to go on and on, too. The beat is just going to continue. Every great player out there, you better believe on their recruiting list of 4 or 5 schools, Duke is included.
Well, who doesn't want to play in that environment? I mean, it's almost a cinch that you get to the Final Four. You're playing with other great players and in a program that's tremendously respected.
Well, it's the domino effect, Mike. Recruiting is the key of it all. If you get great recruits and you blend them as a unit and you win, the better and better talent you're going to get, the fan appeal you're going to get, the television exposure. You get guys like Bob Hurley who come from great high school programs where they've been embedded with winning like he was at St. Anthony's in Jersey City under his dad. It just goes on, and the beat just keeps going on.
68-55. Barry tries the 3. Mackey with a follow. It'll be 68-57. But this is all academic at this point with 29 seconds to go.
They've never really been a threat here in the second half.
No, we said when the second half started, they needed to come out and hit a run to get back in the game, and they never really had that. 27 seconds left. Sports Center coming up after the game. Chris Fowler and Dan Patrick standing by. Report on the Hoosiers on the road, what trouble Syracuse may be in, and the debut of Larry Brown.
Hey, Larry and Danny back again. Patrick and Fowler, what a backcourt is. I'll tell you what, in a matchup, Saunders and Valvano versus Patrick and Fowler, I'll take Patrick and Fowler. Too quick. Those guys eat too much, Saunders and Valvano. And you and I will take them all on.
All right. But if we put John Saunders out on ice, he'll destroy all of us.
Ooh, ice hockey. I can't stand that sport. The red line, the blue line, the green line. I mean, guys whacking sticks at each other, hitting a little boy. You can't follow that puck. I went to one hockey match in my life, basically, when I was coaching the Pistons, and I left after the first period because I couldn't keep up with the puck. I couldn't follow it.
Did you enjoy the fights?
No, not really.
68-57 with 27 seconds to go.
I think the hockey league's going to make me its honorary member.
Barry will try another three and hit this one.
It's too late, baby. It's too late.
Barry with 22 points, but I tell you, a very silent 22.
Yeah, really, that looks good statistically, but it just really was no impact whatsoever in terms of winning.
15 seconds left, 69-60.
But at least he hasn't anything quitting him, you know.
That's right.
His mom was an excellent athlete, Pam, and certainly we know about his pop. His dad was one of the greatest ever to play the game, a Hall of Famer. There's more life right there. Look at that.
Here's Buzz. Buzz nearly lost the old needle tonight, down by 9 with 15 seconds left. Now make it 10.
You talk about the great second-year players. You certainly talk about Hill, Rodney Rogers. You have to talk Jamal Mashburn, Kendrick Warren. Sean Bradley, they tell me, he's putting a lot of weight on. He's right now serving his Mormon mission out there. Brigham Young, he'll be back in 2 years, and you know he's going to be a big factor. 7-6.
Barry all the way in. He will draw the foul from Ron Burt, who's in for the first time.
And probably the best of them all would have been Ed O'Bannon, who was injured, had a knee injury, and he was just a brilliant performer in high school, now playing at UCLA. Hey, UCLA and Duke at UCLA. That's going to be one special matchup.
That should light him up, and Bobby Hurley should be back for that. Barry, strangely enough, only a 66% free throw shooter. You don't expect that from somebody who's such a good long-range shooter.
Maybe you ought to revert to his dad's way of shooting, underhand. Tonight it really was the performance of Duke and their execution out of the half-court game. I thought they were brilliant. I thought they did a great job defensively. They met the challenge. I think everybody was anticipating a slip by Duke here tonight, but they met the challenge again, and that's the characteristic, Mike, of a national championship potential team, and they certainly are that.
#1 Duke wins it over Georgia Tech here at the Thriller Dome. The final score, Duke 71, Georgia Tech 62. For Dick Vitale and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks so much for watching. SportsCenter is next.
ESPN's NCAA basketball is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By the people of UPS, offering next-day guaranteed overnight air delivery on Saturday. By Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by the Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.